Hello, everybody. I am here with Dr. Torre, and I'm so excited to be with her here with her today. If I can get all the words out my mouth. And so Torre and I, Dr. Torre, I apologize. We've been kind of running in the same circles for years, but I don't think we've just spent an hour talking.
No.
And I'm so excited when she started doing the money work, because so many of us, me included, we need money work. And so now that I'm on this venture of really like honing in and specializing in helping maritalpreneur couples, those entrepreneurial couples who are married, we know money is one of the top 5 reasons for divorce.
Absolutely.
And so when it comes to entrepreneurship and money, because y'all know our money be funny, like our money be funny. And so it's even harder. And I was talking to another maritalpreneur couple, and we just started talking about kind of business failure. It's one thing when I have a business failure, because I kind of knew what I was doing and I knew it was a risk and But when my partner has a business failure, now I don't feel secure. Oh, I got problems with you. Now I'm mad at you. Now you putting my life in jeopardy. It feels completely different. And so money is so integral. I'm not saying it correctly. I apologize. To entrepreneurship, right? That's why a lot of us became entrepreneurs, like halfway for the freedom, but and I gotta say, the freedom ain't all that free.
Amen.
It's all that free. So you might be free at 3:00 in the afternoon to go pick your baby up from school, or to hit that doctor's appointment, or even go to the gym.
Yes.
You are usually not free at 10:00 at night when you got to get that contract done or get that last thing done before the deadline. And so that freedom is more of a freedom to decide when you're gonna work.
That's very accurate. Yeah.
That freedom. But the money part is another reason we get into entrepreneurship. And so, but the road to being a successful entrepreneur until the money gets consistent can be fraught with disappointments and highs and lows. So, so Dr. Torre, all right, first of all, tell me your credentials, because I just know you'd be fabulous. I researched your schooling and everything, because when you hit fabulous people, you just want to, bask in their fabulousness. So tell us your credentials and everything, and then kind of what you're doing now with money and people, and then we'll dive in and ask some more questions specifically about my entrepreneurial couple.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I always enjoy an opportunity to share some of my resources, with both of us coming from the therapy industry. We are natural teachers. That's just something that's kind of built into what we do. I am a native of Atlanta. All of my education has been here. I started at Georgia State, GSU, and then decided to do some other things. And it's funny, as we're having this conversation, and as I was preparing for this conversation, I kind of look back over my life and I said, wow, I've really always had an entrepreneurial mindset. Whether I was waiting tables, whether I was a hairdresser, which I was for 5 years, like I've always kind of been in this flow of not wanting someone else to dictate my time, my energy, my space, my capital, right? And so, going into therapy, I started primarily working with mood disorder, and I still do that primarily. That's basically my bread and butter, is working with people with anxiety, depression, bipolar depression, so forth. But I also was introduced to financial therapy with my college bestie, who is a wealth strategist here in Atlanta, Sybil Slade. And Sybil reached out to me almost now about 8 years ago. Now, we had gone to college and then finished college and went our separate ways, but always kind of kept in touch a little bit. And when I finally got into private practice and was pretty up and running and thriving in my private practice, she reached out and said, there's this new thing where they're pairing wealth strategists with financial therapists. And I think we'd be together, and we started working together, and it's been great.
Right. So I get that completely, because I know in some money classes that I've taken, and I've taken at least 2 or 3 over the years to work on my money issues, to be a therapist that can charge, to be an entrepreneur that can make money and get the money into the bank and get the bills paid and get taxes paid. That money is emotion.
It is
energy.
Yes.
And so I can see how it is perfectly paired for a therapist to come in and talk. How people handle money is childhood trauma. You
Yes.
know, I'm gonna go on vacation every year, regardless, because of the time as a kid, I never got to go on vacation. Or I'm gonna pay the utilities up for a year, regardless of whatever bill needs to be paid, because I never want to have the power turned off on me again. Like, you know, trauma. And so, oh my God, thank you for being in this space and doing this work. Like, oh my God. Okay.
I have to admit, Natalie, once I got brought into this at first, because I'm very averse to administrative, like business stuff, I am much more of a healer in persona, right? But the more that I'm learning about it, and even when I was preparing last night for this, I realized, oh my God, I've been doing a lot more than I even knew, right?
Yeah.
I do think that it's great for the entrepreneur to be balanced and have an understanding that, yes, I want the freedom of money, but I also need to know how to manage it.
Yes. Okay. What do you think? And I know you know entrepreneurs, you have entrepreneurial spirit yourself. Just what do you see people struggle with the most when it comes with money? Planning for it.
Having a plan. One of the things Sybil has taught me, and she actually should turn that off. I'm sorry. She has my portfolio, but one of the things that we've talked about pretty seriously with our workshops and seminars is every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something, right? And so you look at how you are managing your money. First of all, if there is no plan, if there is no understanding or allocation thereof, guess what? We can tell you, we can tell you right up front. If you don't have a plan, you're not managing your money. Okay, that's first and foremost. So having a plan is where people really go wrong. And then secondly, getting started. Like we people, I have to say, we're procrastinators. You know, we want to have the image and the flash and we want to flex. And, you know, especially in Atlanta, we want to live a certain way, but we're not living for that accident.
No.
The future.
No.
Or any incidentals that could just happen at any time. Many people are not prepared for that. So it's just,
because first of all, we don't want to think about it. We like thinking about the positive and the dream and I'm a bling and all of that. We don't think about what if I get hurt.
Yes.
So we don't think about what if something goes wrong terribly with the house. Like we don't think even when we hear that don't sound right when you start running that water. Like we don't want to plan with that. And I think the other thing with entrepreneurs specifically, because I've had a lot of couples, they didn't have no problems. They didn't have no money problems when they didn't have no money.
That's right. Yes.
But now that they got money and it's starting to flow in, now they're fighting every day. Because I want to build our savings account. I want to pay for our kids' education. I want to make sure that my mom's rent is paid. You want to reinvest in the business?
Right.
So we finally making money. And we didn't have to invest the business to get to where it is. So why we got to invest in the business now? And so there's no plan for when we start making money. And so we're so in the hustle and so in the grind of trying to make the money. Yet now that we got the money, there's no plan what to do with it. And so there's a fight every day. The other thing I think that can happen is, and I'm working with one of my clients right now, this is she has money and is scared to death now that she has money. A different type of fear has set in. And so we've been talking about it is completely irrational for me to still think that, like, oh my God, I'm gonna be homeless tomorrow. Like that's not the truth. Like we like, and I'm yet here sitting still and I'm paralyzed.
Yes.
I have money in the bank and I don't know what to do. And the money and financial decisions are completely overwhelming to me. Like I am stuck in a way that I've never been stuck before. And so I think that's so interesting in such a place. So what would you tell them? So get a plan together well before, as soon as possible. But what else advice would you give?
Well, here's the thing, like when we talk about entrepreneurship, everything starts, of course, with a thought, a desire, a thought, and then we start to take step-by-step measures.
Mm-hmm.
Just factor in at the very beginning your 3, 5, 9 plan, like 3 years, 5 years, 9 years. What do I want this business to look like? When I talk about planning, most people don't even anticipate change. So even if everything goes right, like I will be very transparent. I'm a therapist. I have a thriving practice. I've been making a certain amount of money now for a consecutive amount of years, but sometimes I get bored. Sometimes I get tired. Sometimes I decide this isn't enough. This isn't as fulfilling as it was the day I started therapy. So if we don't anticipate change, if we don't sit down and think about the little things, so the little things for me, when I first started was, if I cannot work, can I still send my kids to college? If I cannot work and something happens to me, what are the financial resources my children will have to A, take care of me, or B, bury me? So let's start out with like your insurance policies. Let's start out some investment planning. Let's start out kind of small, just to say I got a cushion in the event that this business either stalls or something happens to me and I can't perform my business.
Right.
That overhead. Let's have some life insurance. Let's have some accidental insurance. A lot of people don't have, and it can be, the accidental insurance can be a little expensive, but you can offset that too with having certain investments and having certain money. So, okay, my money's not coming in like it used to, but I can go pull off of here because I've been saving for that.
Right. Yeah.
I would say to start if you're at the very beginning. If you're in business and it's thriving and money is flowing like it's never flown before, you may need a little bit more heavy duty investment and savings. And we can get into that a little bit later. But to sit down and think about the what ifs. Right?
Yeah.
And then start to think and plan out 5 years, I want to make this amount. I want to have this amount saved. 10 years, I want to have this amount, and so on. Yeah.
Wow. And I think even as you're having that conversation, and I'm all about planning and planning for the future and planning until you're 100, I don't think I've sat down and thought about that. I think I have a number in my head for retirement, but I haven't thought by this year it should hit this number, and by this year it should hit this number. And so how would you advise an entrepreneurial couple to start to do that work? Like what would you say? Do they need to sit down with a financial planner, a therapist? Like what's the first step for them?
The first rule of thumb I would say is to start talking to, because entrepreneurs usually know other entrepreneurs. We kind of hit each other and circle around each other within industries, right? I would start reaching out to other people that I know have been in business 5, 10 years plus and ask them what type of financial planner do they have. You may want to start with an accountant first. You might want to sit down first and look at, okay, this is what I'm paying out. This is what I'm making every year. How can I even afford to take a certain amount of money out and put it away? So you could start with a CPA, a certified, accountant.
Yeah.
Then you might want to actually go and get a certified financial planner. Now, that comes with an array of other things too. I believe in word of mouth. I believe in talking to people who have had effective planners to work for them. But even with that, you can go online and you can go to certain sites to find effective certified planners, financial planners. The other thing too is understanding like, what's the language and how does that work? So do your research, understand what money are supposed to bring to the table, because they do a lot of things, right? You got some that do insurance, you got some that do financial budgeting, you got some that do actual portfolio advising for your future, as far as estate planning. It's a lot.
It's a lot. One of the things, actually, I was in a Dave Ramsey financial course. And the things that I loved about what he said as a financial planner is you want to find one that has the heart of a teacher that's going to educate you along the way. And I was like, yes. And that stood out. Like, I don't know what else he said that day, but that stood out. And I've taken that to heart, like somebody who's going to really educate you and bring you along the way. I think the other thing is, I remember a long time ago, when I had an accountant, and I referred my accountant to another friend of mine, and they were like, that's expensive. okay, baby, you're going to have to spend money to keep your money. Like this is, and so I would say that to my entrepreneurs that are kind of right, probably just hitting that 6-figure mark.
Yes.
You're going to have to spend money to keep your money. You're going to have to spend money to have your money work well. And so not only money in either your CPA / financial advisor / your tax person, like spending, you're going to have to spend money for that to keep your money. You want a good tax professional that can really help you mitigate your tax liability. So I really want to say that and get that out there. And then know that it's just going to take time. And especially if you want to get to the place where your money is working for you, you have to put time and you have to invest in it. And I know when you haven't had money, that seems ridiculous, but now that you're making money, you're going to have to do it. All right. What do you know, or what have you seen kind of the type of arguments that entrepreneurial couples get in, and where does money really start testing the relationship? What do you think?
It's funny. You've already kind of hit on a lot of the things that I've experienced. Like one person has the stable, straightforward 10/40, corporate job. And then the other person has the entrepreneurial type job. And so a lot of times when the money doesn't come in the way it's supposed to, or the person who has the stable income has actually invested in person's business, and the business either flounders, or that person doesn't do their due diligence. Maybe they don't handle their taxes appropriately. Maybe they're giving money outside of the home to places where they're supposed to be giving money somewhere else. All of those type of things start to happen. One of the things that Sybil and I witness a lot with our workshops is spenders and savers.
Yeah. Because opposites attract. Isn't it funny? Like it is one of the most cliche things that is reality opposites seem to attract. So it's always a spender and a saver. Always. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Not having the conversations. And so it's interesting, when you know this, when you're talking about being in love, many times we rush in because of these feelings and we don't do our homework and understand how congruent, how equally yoked are we outside of the bedroom?
Right.
How equally yoked are we outside of the way that we parent our children? People have, blended families. They come in with all of these extra, components to the relationship.
Right.
They have the work to understand, how does this person manage their money? How does this person manage when they're in debt? People are very different when they get money, and people are very different when they broke.
Definitely so. Definitely so.
I see a lot of times people also afraid, should we put our money together? Should we keep it separate? How should we manage that? And so, going back to what you were saying about a financial planner should be someone that teaches, a financial planner should also be someone that understands your lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Should be interjecting the way they see fit to live their life, because there's so many different ways that people want to live their life.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely so.
Understand and be about your best interest. You may not have children biologically, but you may have inherited now your spouse's children. And so your mindset needs to shift as far as where the dollars are going and when they're going there.
Yes.
These come into play with arguments and how we're going to our money individually, collectively, how we're going to bail each other out. What does that look like?
Right.
All of the things. Yeah.
And I think, and from the business side, also having those deeper conversations about what's a sustainable loss for us? What's too much of a loss?
Right.
Beforehand, when would we stop investing into the business? Because I felt like we should invest, that we take a second mortgage out on the house. At all costs, we're going to invest in the business. Wait a minute, we ain't messing with my security just because you got a dream you want to fulfill. You've been trying to do that dream for 3 years. That 3 years is enough. You need to come back and get a job. And so making sure that couples are having those conversations and really talking about, okay, what is the vision for us? And the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like really talking about those downsides, because that's when it like really, when the rubber hits the road.
Yes.
Have to say when we're in crunch time, or I really feel like we should invest this, then you want to save it. Like, why would we save money when we can make more money? And so
Yeah.
it is such a thing. So I really believe that couples, if we can have a conversation, if not at the beginning, at least somewhere on the way, and get aligned to what business and money, financial policies and protocols do we want to put in, and procedures do we want to put into place? When is too much? When is not
When are we
enough?
too long?
Yeah, that would be a really, really good one. And so it seems to happen haphazardly. And back to you said, even in the dating process, how do you feel about money? How do you handle money? What was money handled like in your household growing up? Or what was money handled in your house growing up? And so let's say if I have a couple, let's say one partner, not unrealistic, was raised by drug addicted parents. So they can go either way with money. They can become that parentified child that holds on to money and make sure all the bills get paid, or they can be the kid that has no idea and we always lying to cover for Peter and Paul, and lying about money is just what we do.
Right.
And then let's say they marry the quintessential middle class kid that grew up in very stable environment. Everything was always paid, and they can go either way too. They could have excellent financial mentorship or not really have a clue about money because they never had to deal with it. Everything was just always there for them. They don't really have a concept. And so down and really having those deeper conversations. It always seems the really responsible person always seems to get with the person that has no clue about how we handle money and what we do with it. And it's so funny how it happens, but it happens. One of my clients we're talking about, she grew up in a home, and the responsibility and the money that she put into a home to keep a home functioning. And now they're dating a partner that always grew up in apartments. And so doesn't understand why we just spent $1,000 on the rocks outside, or doesn't understand that the light that's not working in the bathroom anymore is our responsibility to fix. And we need to have a budget for home repairs. And so it's all these little things about money and how it works, and safety and security and what that means, and the values that you hold. Really, we want couples having those conversations from the beginning. They're like, I ain't even mad at you if you start talking about it on the first date, because I want you to have, I just want you to know. And I'm not saying sit in judgment. But once we know where we are, now we can make some agreements around how we handle it. It might mean, okay, you give me 50% of your paycheck, and then you're free to do whatever you want to do. And I know blah, 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 blah. And so not having any judgment, but just understand this is where we are. This is where we come from. And then this is what we need to do. So, okay, giving you back the floor. Giving you back the floor. All right. What would you tell a couple that's fighting over money every day? And I don't know if that's coming from your financial side or your therapist side, but if they're fighting over money every day, what would you tell them?
Either way, if you're fighting every day, that is a red flag for you need outside help. Like, just plain and simple. You can start with a therapist. You might decide because it's money, you want a financial planner, or both. But I do think that if you're fighting every day, that means that there's a lot of other stuff going on, some deep-seated resentment, some places where we're not cohesive or congruent. We're lacking some systems that need to be set in place. And so I would definitely say at that point, you need to be seeking some type of third-party counsel.
Okay. And I think that's brilliant. Okay. Let me ask you another question. How can entrepreneurial couples avoid that lifestyle creep as their income expenses increase? Their income increases. And I've done it myself. I think it's a principle. Is it the Pareto principle or something? But it's basically as much money as you have, that's how much money you will spend. And so I know you really have to work hard and consciously that even though your income is rising, for your expenses not to rise. So you have to make some decisions. So kind of regarding that. So how would you advise a couple? Y'all doing good. Y'all making good money now, but let's not be that couple that now we making $1 million, we spending $2 million. So right? So it was good when we was making 100 and spending 100,000, but now that we making $1 billion, we spending $2 million. So how would you advise them to like keep that in check?
So like, again, so let's look at two scenarios. If you are starting out together, this is just now starting, then of course have the conversations about the three, the 5, the 9, the 10-year plan. Like, okay, well, we're making this amount, the money's going to look like this, and we're going to put this amount. Always have in your equation money saved, because savings is a habit. And as we know, as therapists and as psychologists, that with money comes responsibility, right? But if we get in the habit, whatever our behavioral habit is where we're going to stay. So if the two of you both agree on a percentage that you either collectively or individually are going to set aside, and then that number has to go up as the money goes up. So you do what I call table talks. So I suggest to my clients, whether they, entrepreneur or not, we need to manage our relationships the same way we manage our lawn care, our home care. We need to have table talks. We need to sit down once a month or maybe once quarterly and say, these are the things that are happening. This is what this looks like. I actually have my clients calendar it. Because if it ain't on the calendar, it's not going to happen.
It ain't going to happen. Right.
So you need table talks to sit down and discuss and know. And here's the thing. So if you're going to do this, that means hopefully you already have some type of tracking system on your money anyway. A lot of people
would be nice. They don't.
Looking at what's coming in and what's going out. So you got that going on. So whether you're doing that through your accountant or you're doing that through Google Excel, you have some apps, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, to help you have accountability of your funds. All right. So you do that. And then as you each start to grow, and also you might have individual companies, right?
Right.
So let's just say hypothetically, the wife's business brings in more capital than the husband's. Then you have a conversation about percentage, or maybe all in pooling your money to decide how we're going to build this thing of our life, right? But tracking system, you need constant conversation and communication about it. And you need to have a number that makes sense, that is feasible.
Right.
20% of what you're making is the going statement. 20% of what you're making into savings or investing or whatnot. If you're blowing everything that comes through, you're going to continuously have to work that business to make that capital. Well, you want to make your money make money for you.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you're talking about that, because this morning I was talking to a supervisee about a case where, and this is so interesting when this happens, when one partner is making like, let's say 500,000 and the other partner's making 50,000. And so that's more than a money conversation.
Yes.
That's how do we want to be in relationship together, and what's important in this relationship for us.
Yes.
And what are we kind of like, what are we doing here? What's the bigger plan?
Picture.
And picture. Because if that, like, you're going to have to look at the relationship dynamics, like in everything, because we probably can't have a 50-50 financial relationship if you're making 500 and I'm making 50. Hey guys, I just wanted to jump in here a minute and talk to you guys how that have a marriage that's struggling right now. So you're not making it up. Running a business is hard. Being married is hard. And doing them both at the same time is very, very hard. But you are not alone. So many entrepreneurial couples tell me they love each other, but the stress of the decision making, the finances, the not being aligned, it's hard, and it pulls stress on the marriage. But the truth is, you can have both, but it takes intentionality and it takes some skills. And so what I want to offer you right now is a free marriage clarity call with me, so that you'll get the skills you need to build a great marriage. So one of the skills that you need is just this one simple, powerful tool, which is when you are having a conversation with your partner, say, hold up, before I answer, who do you need me to be right now? Do you want me to be your business partner, or do you want me to be your marriage partner? because the answers may be very different. So adding that one powerful tool in there will start to transform your conversations. And when you transfer your conversations, that is like that 1% pivot that now will have the marriage wind up in a different destination. So get on a call with me at marriageclaritycall.com. In that call, we're going to figure out the one biggest challenge you have. We're going to make out a simple plan for it to get you success in your marriage. Again, that's marriageclaritycall.com. I can't wait to talk to you. You can have a great marriage and a great business. Like it's too big. And so so that complete relationship dynamic has to be talked about, or y'all going to constantly be looking crazy.
Absolutely.
And the 50,000 person is trying to keep up with the 500,000. They may have to get 2 or 3 jobs to do that. And then y'all are never seeing each other in the relationship. And so I think keeping that in mind, that money is kind of only one aspect, and figuring out what you want the money to do and how you want the money to serve you, the relationship, your family, your legacy, your wealth, and all of that. And so really kind of digging deep. All right, you said some apps, and so I wanna jump into apps and tools. Like, it's a tool like that. Look, it's a tool like that that's gonna make all of this easy for me, and go away, so I don't have to do the work.
So there are a couple. One of them you actually have to pay for. This one is called You Need a Budget. Okay, it's $15 monthly. This is for total budget control. You're going to have the ability to show the variable income, how it comes in. You're going to actually be able to sync the partners together, so you can sync how your money is coming in and actually have a full layout and understanding of what is going to best work for your household and for your individual businesses. And like I said, that comes with a fee. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
The other one, which I actually was entertaining doing for a moment with Sybil when we were pairing together, like doing workshops and doing speaking engagements and figuring out, okay, how much are we going to do this and who's going to get paid this and all that thing. It's called Honeydew. Now, Honeydew is right. It's a free app. It is for those who wish to keep their funds separate.
Gotcha.
But you have to see certain things. There's a chat feature in it. There's have a shared account. You can have your calendar arrangements on there. So you know what? I'm going to this event. Do you want to go to this event? What do you think? Do you think this is good business? You can have all of that on that site and have an understanding of what this person is doing at this particular time of the day, what that person is doing. Now, the other one, I did not know about this one. I just recently came upon this one. It's called Zeta Manage. This is designed just for couples. Okay. It is free as well. Now, this one gives you shared accounts. It allows you to set goals. It allows you to track bills. And it allows you to have joint banking. Okay.
Zeta, Zeta.
Zeta Manage.
Okay.
It is just designed for couples. And so I think as
I'm going to look at that.
Well, there are a lot of sites out there that are coming up for this, but I do think that getting started and having something that allows you, the thing, like I said about entrepreneurship is getting started, but also realizing how like-minded are we about our vision, right? Or our value systems align and how our business is going to flow into our romantic life.
Yes. Right.
And so there are a lot of integrity issues that we have to check out to understand our linked.
Don't step on my toes. Don't step on our toes. Okay. Don't do that. Look,
but
you got to do it. You got to go there. All right. So what have you been singing? What would you advise people to do? What?
So here's the thing, my rule of thumb has always been, look at a person's heart, understand what's important to them, and you're going to understand how they move. Okay. If a person has selfish tendencies, if they hide things, if you're dating someone or if you're now in an actual committed or marital relationship and there are things that you don't know, you got to figure out, can I go into business with somebody that I don't know? They're not an open book, right? They're not sharing everything with me. You can mess around and get into business with someone and end up having federal charges against you. There's a friend of ours in our friend group who recently, her husband got caught signing some checks for some things through their business she didn't know about. And now she's been investigated, and thank God she's been cleared. But now her reputation's tarnished. Now her reputation has been differently by her peer group, by her business colleague. So you got to be very careful about value systems and how a person moves, right?
Definitely so.
Woman in the relationship, and you might be stronger in finance than your husband, but your husband's ego might come into play and say, well, I'm the man, I'm supposed to, but I am better skilled at this. I am better trained at this than you are. One of another mistakes people do is they don't respect their particular and individual skill sets, right? So one might be just awesome at marketing, great at sales, but not good with administrative work and not good with the details with the money. The other one might be excellent at money, but socially people don't really like them, want to be around them. So sell this product or sell this situation that we're servicing, you can't go because you know. So we have to have these conversations, but we also got to be smart when we start talking about joining forces and having business together. Yeah.
So much I want to add on to that. I want to add, first I want to say with the Maritalpreneurs Weekend Intensive, we have one of the areas of mastery where I call it results driven role alignment. Like, what's the result? If you are doing 10 calls and closing 7 out of the 10 calls, and you only closing 2 out of 10 calls, okay, the 7 is the one who need to be making the call. And kind of throwing ego out the window, because it messes so many couples up with ego, and even family businesses, that ego gets in there and we're doing things that just doesn't make financial sense anymore because ego. So that's, oh God, that's so good. That's so good. Okay. I want to talk about what if somebody realizes now that they're in relationship, they're in business with somebody who's either untrustworthy around money, lacks integrity around money, lacks discipline around money. What do they do now? Because now I'm 5 years in and we have everything invested together. So
this is again a time to bring in third-party counsel. This is a time for you to say, okay, look, I have done all the things. I've talked to you about it. I don't know how to manage these things. What can I do? There's an excellent book by George Kinder called The 7 Stages of Money Maturity. It's an excellent book. I was going to say too, that may be a resource you want to look into for your retreat, because it really breaks down, again, that childhood stuff, your value system, your level of integrity, your vision. It breaks down the things that really shows how a person is attached to their money, right? And so when you partner with a person and you realize that they're not showing up or they're not manifesting the things that they say they were going to manifest, I think it is imperative that you have some type of introduction or something to at least give this person an opportunity to get more knowledge and to get exposed. Because some people it's not a character flaw, it's that they're not exposed, right? And then some realize, no, this is a character flaw. We're not aligned in our values. Our level of integrity is not aligned.
Okay. So, all right. This is opinion, and so you can go either way. So let's say we have that couple, they're 5 years in and they realize, okay, we not aligned. This how you spend money and I spend money is completely different.
Right.
Would you advise them to get out? Would you say y'all can make it as a couple? Y'all can't make it as a couple. What do you think? And this is just strictly opinion.
Totally depends, in my opinion, on willingness. So you have willful and you have willing. You have some people that can say, yeah, I want to do that, but they won't take the measures. And then you have people that say, okay, if you're dealing with a person that will not meet the measures, my advice is y'all are going to have to probably dissolve the business and individually practice, right? Not going to necessarily that you can't stay married. You might have great skills when it comes to being married. You just may not be able to do business together, right? But that person that is willing, I would say, get educated, get exposed, be patient, get the professionals in to help you, to guide you, to direct you, and move accordingly. Also, though, if I find a couple where their value systems are very different and no one's trying to budge, that's a marital issue too.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have a different conversation.
Okay, you just said something that I want to highlight. You said the term marriage skills. And I would like everybody to know, because between Disney and the church and everything else on TV, they got y'all thinking that you can just be married. You just be married. Like I fall in love with somebody and we live happily ever after, in the story. Being married is a skill. Loving somebody when they're getting on your last nerve is a skill. Communicating when you don't want to communicate is a skill, or you can't figure out how to communicate. All of that's a skill. Living with somebody, partnership is a skill. Sharing, all of these are marital skills that you have to learn. And it may be a very different skill set to run a business.
Right.
And so you need both.
Yes.
If you're going to be an entrepreneurial couple together. And there also has to be an understanding that we're going to be at different skill levels in different areas. And we all got to be working to improve. Like everybody, like nobody has showed up at the arrived mark. That we're going to have to be identifying, oh shoot, I really do need to improve on that. Okay. And the thing about the marital skills, you're not even going to know that you don't have them until after you're married.
Absolutely correct.
Wait, what? I do what? I have what? Huh?
Yes.
And so it's going to take a realness to be successfully married and successfully in business, a realness with yourself. And some days I'm going to tell you it's going to hurt. It's going to be like, I thought I was a better person. I like to joke with my staff that everybody thinks they're a better person than they actually are. We are wonderful until our partner is like, you did what? Well, in my mind, it made sense because I'm wonderful. You don't see it that way.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You don't see it that way. And I think that's another huge skill is being able to say, baby, you don't have that together, but I absolutely love you and support you, but that's not your fault. Right. And so all of these are skills. And so if you're struggling right now in the business, in marriage, I really want you to understand that these are just skills that you can learn.
Yeah.
And then go learn the skill. And so, I mean, I am not a cheap therapist anymore. Praise the Lord. That being said, I've also been sitting in session with some people that's like, you didn't want to buy a $10 book before you came in here? You didn't want
that investment?
Even if the book was $25, you didn't want to spend that before you came in here? Okay. All right. The same books I'm ordering off Amazon, you can order off Amazon.
Oh God, yes.
Matter of fact, you might get them faster than I get. I'm just saying. And you definitely could probably apply it faster than me. You making an appointment with me, waiting to get on my calendar, then getting in to have me tell you what to apply. Definitely. So I want to encourage everybody, if you could see yourself in process, like a work that is always, working, like what the Christians say, working toward the high mark of the calling, something like that. And I think that'll go a long, long way. And what I've noticed with couples is what I love about couples, like I've noticed it and I love this fact, is that most people in a relationship, they don't need their partner to arrive and be perfect. They just want to see their partner trying. And if they're trying to do better, I can get behind that. Oh, I'm good. I didn't see them trying and I felt like they didn't care. That's when I've noticed the problem is. But if it's like, that's my baby, they trying, they ain't got that, but they can't stop bouncing checks to save their life, but they sure be trying. There's a grace that goes with that.
Yes.
Look, I'm dating myself with bouncing checks, right?
Yes.
Y'all do that no more because y'all don't know what checks are because y'all ain't wrote a check in a while. And so get the skill set. And I think another thing that you said, Dr. Torre, is in 2 or 3 different ways through this conversation is get the support. Like if you ain't got it, if both of you guys are spenders,
God forbid.
I know, but it's somebody out there somewhere. Both of y'all are spenders. Yeah. Both of y'all like the high life. Both of y'all want to be in Bali. All of that. Then you need to get the outside structure to help you. And so whether that's a therapist, a coach, a financial planner, probably all 4, a daily money manager, you probably need it all. But put the support you need in place. Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing is people wildly underestimate what it takes to be in business and run a business well.
Well said.
Underestimate. It's just like, oh, you just do the thing and you make the money. Sales is different than marketing. Marketing is different from sales. Collecting money is different from making the sale. Managing the money is different from collecting the money. Like all of these like little things. And so I want you guys having deeper conversations about how the money is running through the business and all of that and making sure you have it. And if you don't have it between the 2 of you guys, make sure you're paying for that support. But however that looks. And I don't think, and I've been thinking about it in this conversation, I think I've taken all together at least 4 money classes. Because I just needed it throughout the years. I needed to charge higher prices. I needed to get my money together. I needed to get my taxes together. It's so many things. And so, and so get the support. I promise y'all the support is out there. But and so do what you have to do to get the support. And I think you got to come humbly and say, like, this money thing, as simple as it is, right? It seems like money is so simple, but it gets really complicated when you're talking about money in marriage and money in business, you know? And I heard one thing and it rocked me on my tail, actually. It's this girl, lady, I apologize, Darnyelle Harmon Jervey or something like that. And I was reading her book and she was like, you have a money cycle that you repeat every 7 years. What you mean? What you mean? Hold on. I think I put the book down and was like, am I living out a money cycle every single 7 years? And so I don't know if I'm living it out every 7 years, but I definitely am repeating some patterns. And so with that, and I was having a great conversation with a client one time about this whole get out of debt. Especially kind of the Dave Ramsey people, get out of debt. I want to get out of debt. If you guys are feeling that way, just listen to me for a second. If your goal is to get out of debt, I need you to immediately come up with your next goal. Because if your goal is to get out of debt and you reach that goal, then you got to get back in debt so you can have that goal again. And so financially, you need to, like, step 1 is to get out of debt. Step 2 is get $100,000 in the bank. Step 3 is to get $1 million in the bank. Like, make those steps, because if your only goal is to get out of debt, then you get out of debt, then you run back debt, you run debt up again so that you can get out of debt again. And so you're repeating the cycle because your goals are here as opposed to this is step 1 on the process. If that's the only step, because that was such a big message for a while. Get out of debt, get out of debt, get out of debt. And not save, get out of debt, then save. Get out of debt is step 1, save is step 2. And so if you haven't sat down and really thought about those steps for yourself and really made kind of completed the ladder, then you'll get into debt, get yourself out. Yay, let's have a party, I'm debt free. And then to have that same feeling of accomplishment again, you'll run that cycle again. Okay. We can't keep doing this. My whole life can't be getting out of debt because I keep getting back into debt like you can't. And so there's so many things that all of that plays out in an entrepreneurial couple because we got 2 people with money systems running in their mind and not knowing what they're doing and doing it together. So, okay, Dr. Torre, this has been a fabulous conversation. All right. In our last 2 minutes together, tell people if they need money help, if they need your help, how can they find you?
Okay, wonderful. Well, first and foremost, you can find me at drtorre.org. That's drtorre.org.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for help with your emotional connection to money. That is what I do. That is what I specialize in. If you are looking for financial strategy, you can still reach out to me. I'll refer you to Sybil Slade. Sybil Slade, certified financial planner, and she does all sorts of portfolios. So it's not like she's only going to deal with the millionaires. She deals with all types of businesses and all types of people. And then also you can reach me and just get, little snippets of advice at Dr.Torre 8 on IG. And then I'm also Torre Wiley on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Y'all find her. I think we could have kept talking another 3 hours on this money stuff because it goes so deep. I had a list of questions, y'all. I think I asked 2 questions off the list because everything goes so deep, and this was such a great conversation. So, Dr. Torre, I'm going to have you back to go even deeper. So this was, I had a great time. Like, I had a great time. Probably got a couple of epiphanies for my little financial life. So, so I can't wait. I think one of the things that when we talk again, we're going to have to go really talk about kind of that financial integrity and showing up with integrity financially in relationships. Because we've heard the stories throughout the years of one partner spending money and hiding money and saving money over here. And, in my family, we have that kind of old, like, girl, you better keep you some money tucked away on the side. Like, all of that. And I think like that's a money story that permeates the culture of my family.
Yes.
And so when that's, coming in with somebody else's family culture around money and maybe transparency, like, what you mean? That's not what they told me. They told me I need to keep an account on the side because we never know what you're going to do. And so all of that comes into play. And it came from a good place, right?
Yes.
It really came from women who did not have the financial means to protect themselves if they were divorced. That's what it came from. And so one of the questions we have to ask is, do I still need to carry around those same money cultural beliefs now? Especially if I'm the one that's making $500,000 in the relationship and the other person's making 50. Like, I'm just saying, like, we will carry these things regardless of what's actually happening in reality. So, okay, so I could keep talking, but I'm going to stop. All right, what's the last thing you want people to know about money, finance, entrepreneurship? If there's just one thing you could tell them, like, hold on to this, what would it be?
I would say it's a journey. Have your support that you can have, whether it's your spouse, whether it's a family member. Sit down, plan, have a plan. Don't haphazardly go into any of this. Not marriage, not finances, not business. Have a plan, understand yourself, understand your partner, and move accordingly through that. But please have a plan. That's the main thing that we struggle with, is not having a plan.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I can get with that. I can get that. Okay. So I'm going to add my thing just so I'm not saying ditto, which I want to say ditto is in that plan, make sure you have some specific goals. Make sure that, and with those goals, that there's some kind of protocols and procedures around when y'all start making money, i.e., no matter who make the money, when the money, however it comes, it goes to this account, then it goes to these things, and it does like have kind of like specific financial goals and a plan for the money when it starts coming in. Because I think that's taken a lot of my clients aback. Like, we never fought over money before. Yeah, and money.
Yeah.
And money.
Story.
Yeah. There's no need to fight over 2 pennies. But $2 million, and how we gonna handle that when I got these kids that need cars and graduation and cruises? Like, that's completely different. So yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Now, I look forward to future endeavors. Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye. Hi, guys. I so hope that you enjoyed the content that I presented here today. It's a joy to do and to put out. Okay. Now I'm going to ask 3 things from you. One, if you are a couple, a committed couple, and you guys have an entrepreneurial component, I'm going to ask you to go to maritalbizquiz.com, maritalbizquiz.com, and fill out the marital assessment. When you do, you are going to get a report that's going to give you action items that you can take action on and make your relationship better today. So that's number one. Number two, if you like this content, subscribe, comment, share, spread the word so every entrepreneurial couple will have a chance to improve their relationship. Number three, if you know an entrepreneurial couple that would be great for me to interview, that you know they're doing some things right, if you would, give me their information. So you can put it in the comment, you can send us an email, get us that information, and we'll reach out and we'll interview them. But again, so glad that you guys shared this time with us today. And hopefully you got something that you can take away from it. We look forward to serving you in the future. Have a great and wonderful day.